Hello everyone, how are you doing? I'm Wardy and I've got a TvP best of 3 that you guys need to watch. In the top left hand side, our red Terran player is INnoVation, and he is taking on the bottom right blue Protoss player, Trap. This is a best of 3. It's the first match in a GSL dual elimination group for the Into the Alpha X tournament. These replays are still available if you want to purchase them. This was just Group A of the tournament that was just played on Sunday, the 3rd of May. And so if you still want these replays, go get them. You can find them for the match you're in. I'm sure you guys can Google. I'll put the Wikipedia link in the description down below and all the good stuff, so you can go and find them and support the tournament and stuff like that if you want to. Of course, if you do enjoy the cast right here from me, do consider liking, commenting, and don't forget to subscribe, guys. We are less than 2,000 YouTube subscribers away from 20,000. How awesome is that? We are so close. This is another YouTube exclusive cast. I'm in a bit of a weird place where this week's live stream content has been good and fun, but nothing I'd usually upload to YouTube. But I'm also got so many replays from awesome matches that I'm going to cast. So I've decided to do kind of a YouTube-only heavy week here, basically. I think this is our 3rd in a row. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wardy, will you stop uploading INnoVation? Well, I'd love to, but sadly all the good matches seem to have INnoVation in. I don't know what it is. I mean, he's super popular, he's also really good right now, and he's also still playing in everything despite all of that. Usually when someone's super popular and super good, they stop playing and stuff, and then I'm like, and we get like one series a month when they decide to randomly show up to like an Alimo League, or we get like IEM replay packs. But yeah, INnoVation is playing in pretty much every online tournament there is right now, so there's a lot of games from him. So I'm sorry guys, but this is not the end either. There is only more to come. I just got my hands on some INnoVation versus Zest replays. I've got an INnoVation Rogue best of 9. I've got a TY versus... I actually do have a TY versus Trap best of 9 as well. I also have INnoVation versus Zest best of 5. There's some good matches featuring INnoVation coming up, so we might just do INnoVation week here on the channel. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear if you have any thoughts on any of those series, what you might like to hear me cast next. But yeah, let's get into this and let's talk about what's going on. So this Reaper here from INnoVation, coming down to the bottom right hand side, a little look to see what's going on. Adept going to be taking some damage, but nothing too crazy. Of course, the whole point of this Adept is to zone out the Reaper, and that's exactly what we're seeing happen right now. As a Marine chasing this probe away, unfortunately the probe is going to get out of there alive, unless this Reaper can get it before it dies to the Adept. It will. But of course, losing the Reaper is a bit of a shame anyways, because now you're missing scouting. You're also missing a little bit of damage output you could have at home to help you against these early gateway units. This is 2 Adepts, and 2 Adepts can shade by this bunker and stop you from mining on the natural expansion. So immediately, losing this Reaper early on for INnoVation is really not that great. Now, a couple of Marines continuing to build up here from INnoVation as we get this going. We have this other Adept going shade by into the back of the natural, so 2 Adepts together, joining forces, and a blink upgrade on the Twilight Council at the same time. The 2 Adepts going to move up in towards the main, but of course, yeah, like I said, they're just going to sit here and deny mining time. 3rd Adept shows up. That's actually really scary, because now you one-shot Marines. So now it's really difficult to justify coming out of the bunker and actually trying to fight this. INnoVation just going to rally SCVs down to the low ground here, but, well, definitely not a pretty start so far, put it that way. It's a lot of lost mine time. It's just, what, 5 SCVs sat here doing nothing. Finally, these Adepts, well, sorry, they actually cancelled their shade, but they're still here. So INnoVation was moving to go back to the mineral line. He had me fooled. I think at this point you have enough Marines, but still, it's obviously not ideal as a single SCV goes down. Make that a second. The Adepts are going to shade by, trying to get up that ramp, but not finding themselves being successful. With the blink on the way on the Twilight Council, of course, like we mentioned before, that Twilight opener, and then into the second gate in a row. But Trap has loved this build recently. He really has just used it as his go-to, and hasn't really looked back at all since he started using it, really. So, kind of cool to see, and really just a build that's just so standard and meta, and yet also has enough kind of fluctuation to really kind of, you know, make the games interesting each and every time. Because you can go like I mean, I guess the 2-gate blink is the build I'm talking about specifically, but blink as an opener has 3 gates much faster. Sometimes people even go super aggressive 4 gateways. There's a lot of different ways to kind of do these attacks or these blink openers. So So far, so good, as you do have the Marine of INnoVation out into the center and Observer flying by. And the Medevac. 3 Widow Mines are going to be spotted by this pylon. INnoVation looking for the drop, but Trap is going to be in a position right away where he has this blink and obviously can jump on top of the Medevac. Don't think he has enough Stalkers. He has 2 in the naturals, so yeah. Doesn't have enough to really jump on this and insta-kill it. And he kind of pulls the trigger maybe a little soon there, because if that Medevac dives any deeper, then the next thing you know, right, you know, the blink on it is going to get you 2 shots. So maybe did just dive a little too quick. As this Widow Mine, I'm not sure what the goal was here, dropping this Widow Mine off. Maybe if Stalkers came over, but there's an Observer here, so Trap sees it. INnoVation unable to really do much now. He should just keep this Medevac here for basically the rest of the game until he really finds an opening. The thing is, when it's a Twilight Robo opener, there is nothing on this map that's going to kill that Medevac for a long period of time, unless he specifically builds a Stargate and a Phoenix against it, right? That's not going to happen. So you can just sit here and wait and wait and wait. Maybe even wait until you have Drilling Claws, and then you can strike a mineral line, and that's when you can find major damage. And it's just a constant threat you have to think about here as Trap. He's afraid to move his Stalkers away. Now, okay, he's on 3 bases quite quickly, so he's on a pretty good economy. He doesn't necessarily want to be moving out. But with Blink Stalkers, you love to be moving out. You love to have that map control. And that just doesn't exist right now. So no pressure on INnoVation. He's going to move his own pretty quick 3rd base out into position pretty early here. As the Raven finds, what, 1 kill? 1 single kill with the auto turret. Not much at all. As the SCV moves over. And we'll start to mine up on this 3rd base in the next few moments. 1-1 upgrades, combat shields, and stim pack. All of that bio play coming in from INnoVation in the fairly near future then. So just waiting that out as the Storm upgrade starts. Charge on the way on that Twilight now as a follow-up as well. No surprises there. And our Marines continuing to come forwards, and we are going to be chasing this Adept away up through the top side. Couple Marines coming in, and the Adept will fall. So Adept just looking for information anyways. We're trying to get a rough idea of what's being made, you know, units, production even. Anything you can find is generally good information. And he sees, well, he sees these 2 tech labs empty, right? And then these 2 barracks. So actually, he kind of does know that it's already up to 5 racks. But then again, he knows it's 3cc. Why wouldn't there be 5 racks? I mean, Trap in this game, after seeing the early 3cc, he already took all the gases and he's already teching up. So he didn't sit around on a low gas count for very long at all. He just teched up right away. And that tech up is huge for him, because it means now he's going to have Storm very early. And this first push of INnoVation does not have a lot of life in it. And that sounds crazy to say, because it's, you know, it's a bunch of bio units. They just hit all their upgrades. But with Storm done, it's already time for INnoVation to just start thinking about the next stage of this game, to start moving into a proper response to these High Templar. And you can see it already. Dropping down the Ghost Academy in the natural expansion will get towards those Ghosts, get towards those EMPs. And they are so very much, they are very, very much so needed right now. Absolute necessity as the army of Trap. Coming around the right side, will pick up a Marine. So Marine already falls on the bottom side. A couple of Widow Mines already burrowing up. He's actually... should have unburrowed that one. That was... I saw that one coming from a mile away. Obviously, I know INnoVation's doing 100 other things at the same time. Yes, oh, he blinks in and he actually takes a Widow Mine shot to a Stalker. Well, at least one of these Widow Mines try to kill the Protoss rather than killing the Terran. I swear down, the last few days, I have casted so many games with treacherous Widow Mines. Honestly, it's happened so often lately. More often than usual, I swear down. Anyways, back to the game. This Medevac's still parked here, by the way, as INnoVation at this point is essentially operating on 3 different fronts. That potential Widow Mine drop into the main/3rd. There's a little drop on the bottom, and then, well, his other main army, which is currently being pulled back to deal with the Zealot. Run by! This is 6 workers. He actually left the Zealot alive. He's going to lose a meal. Sorry, there's actually 2 Zealots still alive there. And INnoVation's just moving as well. This is really bad. He is losing so many SCVs. INnoVation, please. I love your economy. Protect your SCVs. Oh my goodness. Those guys need some hazard pay right there. Well, 12 workers down, that's really bad, because that should have been like 4 workers killed, and that's a big difference, because actually, if he hadn't lost so many workers, he'd probably be ahead on workers, and as a Terran player with mules, that's actually really, really good for you. Guardian Shield already pops as, well, Trap is just like, yeah, I want to fight this, no doubts about it. The thing is, INnoVation just doesn't have that much bio, so while the Widow Mine's going off is great, he just doesn't have the force to really continue pushing through. Now, he can take this fight over here, but then he steps 1 step too far forwards, and the Storm is down. And those Marines have to go running. Meanwhile, Medevac's still around the left-hand side. This Observer of Trap will be keeping a little track of those 2 Medevacs up on the top as well. Enhanced Shockwaves on the way out. 2-2 upgrades still coming in. And the 2 extra medevacs of INnoVation on the way in the main base as well. The Bio Army out the front, and just going to be seeing Trap on the bottom right of this as another Colossus joins. This medevac has 2 Widow Mines ready to, again, go into either of these mineral lines. Still waiting. Like I said, you can park this here all game. I mentioned until drilling close. He actually hasn't gone drilling close here because he didn't go for continued Widow Mines, I guess. He went into the Ghost pretty quickly. If you play like against the 3 gas mass gateway style, that's when you start playing against the... that's when you start going drilling close and like more of that. That was some beautiful EMPs. He actually hits everything apart from... I mean, I guess ironically, apart from the High Templar, which is the one thing you really want to hit. But hey, the sentries have no energy. The Immortals lost their shields and barriers. In all intents and purposes, that was a really good couple of EMPs. Well, let's see if we can get them again when it comes to the major fight. Oh, he kills the War Prism. He gets the High Templar. That's massive. One single storm. INnoVation making some slick plays at the moment. Well, let's see if he can hit this again. EMPs come down and Trap is just walking into it, so INnoVation will go stemming forwards. Has to be careful not to just chase too hard, though. This is still a set of Colossus, which are doing a lot of damage that he's not getting any damage onto. A couple Vikings now start to deal damage, but he's taking Colossus damage all this time. It's all well and good dealing a lot of damage with the EMPs. It's all well and good shutting down the storms. That doesn't matter at all if 3 Colossus this entire time are just having the time of their lives. I actually don't know what happened to the medevac. I think it just F2'd back home because the Raven's on the way back as well. So I get the feeling that poor medevac who are watching all this time is now trying to get back home and has just died in the process. He's going to drop a bunch of auto turrets around the back. The thing is, if this Raven was here earlier and you maybe would have gone for 2 interference matrix, that would have been huge because you could have shut down 2 of those Colossus, and then you don't take anywhere near that much damage. Now Trap continues pressing forwards. And this just turned around so quickly here for INnoVation. By the way, quick apologies for my email binging. Apparently forgot to shut that tab before we got started in the game. So if you heard that, that's my email, not yours. Fire coming through though. The Colossus and the Storks continue to fight, and well, 19 workers down. It's a lot of losses. He's finally getting to the point where he's killing off Colossus now, which is great. But these Zealots are just continuing to warp in, and maybe you have to back away here as INnoVation, but... As Trap, sorry, but even still, I mean, if you're backing away now, you're backing away with 2 Colossi, right? And if you're backing away with 2 Colossi, I think that's a win, considering the scenario that this game went down to. He's going to keep on kiting. Okay, 1 Colossus. I think even still fine, because look what INnoVation is left with. A bunch of very, well, absolutely drained medevacs. They are so empty of energy. Actually just ridiculous. They've got nothing left on them. Couple of Ghosts also out of energy. Yeah, there's just nothing here for Inno, who tries to build up Vikings, but you know what? Trap is almost 1 step ahead, just Disruptors on the way up, and those Vikings are going to be somewhat useless. I mean, they can always shoot down a War Prism, don't get me wrong. The 1 Colossus is worth getting rid of. But the Disruptors being built, right? I mean, if you build like 2 rounds of 4 Vikings, if you go to like 10 or 11 Vikings here, you're in so much trouble. You've got so many units. You've got way more Vikings than you really need. So many units that are not actually fulfilling a useful role at this moment of the game. That genuinely is quite a big problem, is these few Vikings hanging around in the center. So that's Colossus. Stalkers and High Templars all coming out. We'll see a few more Stalkers coming through. A couple of Disruptors out. In that bottom right-hand side, Probes are going to get back to mining over on the right side. So going to get some mining on this 5th base. I mean, that's the crazy thing as well. 5 bases up and running for Trap. I guess it's not so crazy. 13-37 in the game, and 5 bases isn't super wild. He does, I mean, INnoVation still has 4 bases of his own. It's not unlike a Pros player to expand faster than the Terran. It's just been a fun game. Lots of action, especially. Lots of good fights. War Prism goes down trying to get in, but he does get a few Zealots off, and we've seen low numbers of Zealots cause chaos earlier in this game already. Obviously, those couple Zealots in that 3rd base were one of the biggest mistakes from INnoVation so far here, in fact. Now, all of this said and done, INnoVation is actually still up to 190 supply against a 160 supply of Trap. Trap's army is very expensive. It's full of, you know, useful units. Lots of disrupt. No! Again, he's gonna get every single Ghost with 2 Disruptor shots. Oh, and now those Vikings. Well, he actually didn't overmake Vikings, really. He actually went into Liberators, which is the right call. But that Disruptor... Trap was actually down kind of a lot of army supply. Resources lost overall here is now even after those Disruptor shots. So imagine what it was before those Disruptor shots. You know, INnoVation's been mining much better than Trap this game. I don't know what's actually happened. How INnoVation has mined that much. Well, I know Trap had kind of a lower worker count earlier, but I kind of thought he was past that. I'm going to say, I kind of feel like I maybe misread this game until, like, just now. I actually feel like maybe INnoVation wasn't really doing so bad, even though that fight wasn't good. And then, obviously, those disruptors have made, really messed up his day. And now this drop in the main base while getting stalled, recall in. The recall in has just completely shut this down. Wow. This is a very interesting game. And like I said, I'm going to own up and say I think I really miscalled this. Because I actually think, looking at INnoVation's army there, 190 supply, full of ghosts, etc., against a 160 supply Protoss, I think that's true. It's not a bad position, right? And again, if you look at that income craft, INnoVation, even still now mining more. That's crazy. Yeah, look how much Trap lost on the tail end of that earlier fight that was at INnoVation's natural, I suppose. But look at the disruptor connection. Oh my goodness. My goodness. The disruptor connections are, well, I mean, there's just no getting beyond that one, guys. We all saw what happened. Well, that might just seal the deal for Trap then, pushing forwards. These Stalkers coming through. A couple of EMPs. I mean, the EMPs are good again. The Disruptor shot number 1 doesn't hit. Number 2, good splitting this time from Inno. Only a couple of Marines. But now losing some random medevacs here. And Trap just keeps pressing forwards. A few Disruptors going up the ramp. That was actually all the Disruptors at once, which if INnoVation had a larger army, that would be kind of scary because... I say it's all the Disruptors. It was like 3. 3 at once is a little bit risky because then you don't have the potential to run away and fire one at a time to keep yourself safe. But yeah, I mean, he actually has just like 7 disruptors in general. Some bad calling from me this game, but a fun one I hope nonetheless, as we do see these couple of EMPs dropping down, Stalkers and an Archon getting hit. It's just what do you do damage with? Yeah, it's all well and good getting rid of the shields, but what then? Like 8 Marines and 4 Marauders? The scan on the army actually just about catches the Observer nearby. SCVs are just going to wander into this, trying to change positions. And another Disruptor shot hits just perfectly. And this one's going to find... Okay, nice split on the Ghost there. That was really well done. But now he finds all 3 of them. INnoVation's going to try and split like crazy. But the Disruptors are just flying left, right, center, up, down. They're flying in directions INnoVation doesn't even exist in. He doesn't even know the dimensions these Disruptors are moving in right now. As this is going to be way too much. Trap overwhelms. And that's going to be game. I tell you what, guys, why don't we take just a quick look back and really just look at the game before that Disruptor shot? Because I really just want to take a quick glance back, as obviously this should end. We know this, Trap. Well, INnoVation, I guess I should say. INnoVation, leave the game, please. Type out GG. I know you don't want to. Type out GG. Come on. There we go. Okay, WW, that works as well. So Trap takes game number 1 here. Let's have a quick rewind though, guys. The benefit of cast and replays. Let's just go back to like, yeah, right about 1446-ish, I guess. Is that it? Is that just a little bit afterwards? It's a little bit afterwards. So it's a little bit before that. So it's about there. That's, I can see it on the minimap, but then it wasn't actually at the true point. So it's around here. So this is the position in the game we're at. So resources lost is actually 3,000 in INnoVation's favor. He's on his way towards 3-3 against 3-2. That's not the end of the world, considering it's a lot of disruptors. They don't really benefit from attack upgrades. I think you're kind of fine. Like, I don't think that's the biggest problem. Yes, Trap has 5 bases, but you've got a 5th CC building. Your current income has just come off of a peak, as I guess Trap has been transferring some probes or so, but in general, you're mining more and you're trading better. So you're at this stage of the game where I think it's very easy to be like, oh my god, INnoVation's in so much trouble because of all the aggression we had over here. This fight that goes all the way up into Inno's natural. But maybe not enough credit given to the fact that INnoVation did clean everything up, bar this one Colossus that got away. And yeah, obviously, we come into this position now, and let's just watch the resources lost here. 13,825 turns into 16,000 in one Disruptor shot. And that just turns the game around. That's like 15 supply, and then the next one hits big as well. And INnoVation just loses like 25 to 30 supply. Trap loses nothing in the process. I actually think that changes the game. And then obviously the follow-up drop in Liberator plane to the main got completely destroyed. Nice little bit of post-game analysis there for game number 1, guys. Let's go into game number 2 and see what happens, because this was a very interesting game. And boy, that Disruptor really really sent it home. Right, let's go into game number 2. Simulacrum will be our second map. As in the bottom right hand side, our Red Terran player felt, looking back, like he had the game in his grasp and it just slipped away. It's INnoVation taking on The blue pro display on the top left-hand side, representing Jin Air. Green rings, of course, it is Trap. Nice to see Trap play a couple of these tournaments as well. I know he was, I was talking to him and he said, I want to take a step back from online events a little bit for GSL coming up, etc. So, cool to see him still taking part here and there, but not in everything, right? That's why I'm so surprised about INnoVation. INnoVation is just like, you know what? I'm going to play everything. And then once he was already playing in everything, he decided to play in even more. He started playing in the Lima Leagues weekly. That's in the Lima League weekly. That's where I got some of my replays from the last couple of days. Yeah, just crazy. INnoVation just starting to play in pretty much anything he can find. Which is awesome. Like I said, it does just lead to us having a lot of INnoVation-based uploads on the channel. Again, I hope you guys don't hate me. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a long time since I've seen a really good PvZ to upload. The best PvZ I've had to upload lately has been Neeb versus Bly, and that game went that series went exactly as you expected to. Multiple proxy hatches, and it was only possibly an upload because the final game was like kind of exciting in a base trade, and kind of like a wacky ending. But I just maybe I'll still. I mean, maybe I won't upload it now because I've just spoiled it for everybody. Duh, Wardy. It's on my Twitch channel. It's kind of a fun game, but like that's the best PvZ I've had to upload, and I'm just like, we can just do better. I want to give you guys the best content, and sadly, PvZ just is not really delivering right now. Had an awesome PvZ a couple weeks ago. That stats solo matchup. That was really fun. It was like a best of 5, and it was really awesome. But yeah, PvZ's just not delivering right now, so there's a lot of Terran-based matchups that are giving us great games, and again, INnoVation just seems to be in a lot of them. And if it's not INnoVation, it's probably Clemo Hero Marine. What can I say, guys? Like, these are the guys that you guys seem to like to watch, and these are the guys that are playing and stuff, so I hope you will forgive me, as I'm just chatting away the first couple of minutes here, nothing really too serious going on. The Reaper's going to hop up, overcommits into the main, but it just gets out. This Adept attack must be a second away from hitting. Yeah, I would beg to say that this sort of says, yeah. Yeah, that this says something along the lines of, how the hell did this Reaper get out alive? My Adept must have been a millisecond from firing at that Reaper one final time. Twilight Council drops in the back of the main as the Reaper Grenade goes down. Probes get popped in the sky. First one falls already. Second one taking damage. This will go down in a moment. Well, an SCV goes down on the other side, but the Reaper again, a couple of probes makes this a little bit more fun from INnoVation than at least. And, well, this time he's going into reactive Hellions, so no need for the bunker, and we'll see what he can do with those Hellions across the map very shortly. I think what INnoVation said was, if it dies, the game is already lost. So, you know, let's not be too sad, because at least now we get a game out of it. Maybe I misread. If someone can translate a bit better, then please feel free to in the comments, of course. Hellions come in, this Adept gets taken down, and now 2 gateways building up the front from Trap. And INnoVation just going to continue across with these couple of Hellions out across the far left side. The wall-off already coming up. This time I talked a lot about how the blink has been used as like a 2-gate blink opener lately. This is 3 gates before a robust. This is really where you can get very aggressive very early as Trap and really kind of step up the aggression. I wonder if this was maybe thinking about being a robot, but then he saw the Hellions, and so he was like, actually, 3rd gateway, because when you invest into a lot more factory units early in the game, you really put yourself in a position as INnoVation where you have less to defend with. And this is 4 Hellions, right? So 4 Hellions, and if they don't do anything here, the counterattack with Blink Stalkers can be so powerful. There's a pylon down here so you can get some slow warp-ins. Trap, is he going to even build a gateway? He is, so he's very committed to this Blink attack. Now, INnoVation's building a Raven, and it's another unit that isn't necessarily going to be at home to defend, because Terran players have loved to send their Raven out and across the map lately, to get across the map and into some mineral lines and dropping those auto turrets. So let's see what INnoVation will use that for. These few Hellions, they have not seen this extra gateway down here. That would be a massive tell, of course, as to what's going on. Wow, look at this. Trap's even going to fully wall. How often do you see a Pros player fully walling against a Terran? I mean, at some point, you're probably going to have to kill one of these gates. Maybe he just cancels this gate, right? But from INnoVation, this should be a massive tell itself, because now, where's the 3rd base? You know, there's no 3rd base. It's 5 minutes in the game. It's obviously very late for PvT. Now, already you see the Raven drops an auto turret. That doesn't actually get a single shot off, I don't think, to these Stalkers. He goes down to the low ground. He'll take down the bunker and continue to keep this as an area he has access into to deal damage. First couple of SCVs going down. The Marines and a Raven coming forwards as well. I'm just going to be seeing this siege tank starting to fire, but he's going to dive on it. Does he have the Stalkers to get it? He will just now. Oh my goodness, he blinks out of there again. He's only lost one Stalker. Look how many super low Stalkers there are. All of these just 1-2 hits from death, and they're all just surviving. Can he get the Raven? He's going to blink in for the tank. Now, this will cost him a couple Stalkers, but the tank plus the Raven afterwards. Can't believe he didn't target the Raven. Now, the auto turret's here, and Trap's losing so many Stalkers. Blinks into the main base. He has still killed 10 SCVs. I can't believe the Raven has not been priority targeted here at some stage. Stimpack only just starting now for INnoVation, so he's quite a way off really having a proper Bioforce to fight this. Scares the Observer away, but it does survive. This gateway did end up cancelling, so as soon as he knew the Hellions were dealt with, or the Hellions were no longer an issue, cancels that, is out to take a 6-minute third. So that is very late with INnoVation already having his own third base, ready to lift up and move out to the low ground or so. These few Stalkers are trapped, continuing away down the bottom right side. So they're going to continue down over here. They're going to shade by. 2 Adepts don't one-shot workers, but there's a lot of lower health SCVs that could maybe target down as their priority. He's actually using the siege tank fight to get some of these SCVs lower and within kind of a one-tap reach. Stalkers blink into the main tank and the Marines. The Marauders too coming around. Orbital taking some damage. Tank will start to fire back against those Stalkers. And they are just going to hide their way into the corner. A couple of them going to go to the natural. Not sure if there's really any intentions of doing damage here. There's a tank already covering. At this stage, INnoVation is obviously holding out till Stimpack and then maybe hoping he can actually get a bit more presence on the map out towards the third base. Because at the moment, that faster third for him really doesn't come to much as the Raven now does go down. The faster third doesn't mean anything if you can't really get on the map, right? Yeah, maybe you build up a few more SCVs a bit faster and that has some impact. But if you're never going to get to mine with those SCVs, doesn't really matter. The Stalkers take a fight here in the main. The problem is these Marines and Marauders are just consistently fighting out of tank range. They pull back into tank range now, and that's great, but how much was lost? You know, these Stalkers, I think you just need the tanks like here. A couple steps forward so they really cover the edges. You can't let these Stalkers blink in for free and then have a blink to get out before they actually start taking any damage. Because imagine this now, right? The Stalkers are here. If there was just one tank, they could wait, blink ready, then just jump on the tank. Probably not going to do that against 2. But yeah, that's the difference. These tanks, they kind of need to be a bit further forwards, and obviously that exposes them a bit, but it's kind of a big main base over here. Like I say, if this tank is here, the Stalkers can't blink right on it, but it also gives cover. As soon as the Stalkers come in, they are taking damage. And right now, again, you're fighting with the bio, out of range of the siege tank support, so you're missing out on your defensive units helping you when you need to be helped. Tank shot fires and the Stalkers blink away. The Templar Archive is building in the natural expansion. War Prism about to finish on the Robo facility. And that's something that's just not even been here yet as well, as all the gas is now taken across these bases. Templar Archive's just finished up, so I get the feeling we're going to start moving in towards Storm in a style that's very similar to the style we saw in game number 1 here out of Trap. Just going to see a couple of Zealots loading up into this War Prism. Storm still coming in, +1 attack on the Forge. Templar Archives Chrono boosting that Storm out. I'm just going to be seeing the gateway on the bottom side. Still around as well, and that's useful for Zealot Warpins, especially as you're taking this third base. This is just going to be a really annoying position. INnoVation, I wouldn't be surprised if he's moving down here. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to check it, right? Because, you know, if there's that many Stalkers, there's got to be some sort of Warpin pile on, and probably, right? And he's not running the Stalkers across the map all game, and there was not a Robo facility for a long time. Now Zealot's going to the main base. INnoVation's starting to move across, and it looks like he might just be done. He's already pulled the SCVs as well, so it's going to be an SCV pull from INnoVation just to try and end this game and maybe say, well, maybe you just stuck on Stalkers for too long. Storm's going to be done, though, and Storm is the big part of this. Nice force field's going to buy a little bit of time already, a little bit extra time for the Storm to be done. With Storm, SCV pulls do not work because the Storm covers bio, it covers SCVs. You don't waste any time really shooting at SCVs because they die so fast. The Storm is just ineffective. First Storm lands on these units, caught by the force fields, and INnoVation trying to bully his way up here. Already 19 SCVs lost as the Zealots across the map did major damage. And well, the tanks, don't get me wrong, the tanks are scary. They can absolutely deal a lot in this, but that's why Trap is just pulling out of tank range. It's almost a similar story as to what happened over in the main. Now, of course, these tanks can leapfrog a little bit further forwards. Eventually, Trap will have to fight. There's still some action going on across the map, but this is where it all matters, guys. If Trap can hold, INnoVation's obviously in a lot of trouble. There's no recovery from this. As we do see, the Immortals starting to get in towards Marauders and tanks on the top side. Extra Storm or two from the bottom. Archon morphing in. It's really... there's actually kind of a lot of Marauders left here. The tanks are still shooting strong. Extra Zealots warping in, though, and there's not really Marines left over, so there's not really any DPS to get rid of Zealots. And INnoVation's supply is gone, and Trap will hold to take this 2-0 in this best of 3. Now, guys, tell you what, I'm feeling good. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this, but I did see in the replay pack there was actually a second INnoVation Trap series. So what I imagine happened is that Trap lost in the winners match, and INnoVation won in the elimination match. So how about we just keep this as a full-on Trap INnoVation video and cast another best of 3? Best of 3, sorry, before someone calls me out. You guys down for that? I know you guys can't reply to me because I'm on YouTube. I think it's a good idea. I think we just do the best of 3 right now. Yeah? Cool. Then I'll see you guys in a minute or two, and I guess we'll talk a bit more about it at the start of the next game in this fresh best of 3, as these guys will meet once again. So yeah, this is something I wouldn't really usually do, cram another best of 3 into the same video, but you know what? It's the same players, it's the exact same tournament. This is played, what, like a couple hours after the first series? So one of two things can happen here. Either I look like a complete tit, Trap bops INnoVation again, and we learn nothing, or we see some cool plays happening that kind of revolves around what happened in the earlier series, play styles differing, INnoVation taking a different kind of approach to the matchup, like he already is, bringing this SCV across the map to Proxy, and maybe it kind of ends up being kind of a, you know, a cool little, a cool little thing to do. Like I said, I didn't really know the results of this group. I just saw that INnoVation and Trap ended up playing twice. So I figured, hey, if the first series isn't like a 3-game series and is, you know, maybe if it's just 2 maps, maybe we whack the second series in as well. I mean, what's the worst? We cast 5 full maps, like. Yeah, so I kind of made the decision on the fly. So yeah, if you're for some reason skipping through, or you didn't quite hear at the end of the last game, this is a new series between Trap and INnoVation, played in the same tournament, the same day. Basically, their first match was the starting match of a group. This is now the decided match of the group. They meet again. Let's see what happens. Obviously, that proxy racks to start from INnoVation out to the left side. So again, this is also best of 3. And I guess also let me know in the comments down below if you think this is a stupid idea, or if you kind of like the surprise bonus series. Let me know, guys. Okay, Probe coming around, and in the main base, of course, sees the no ranks, so immediately Trap knows here there's something of a proxy up, or at least the idea of a proxy. Maybe INnoVation just hides the racks over here, builds the Reaper, kills the Probe. Obviously, this is a real-life proxy, and we know that, but Trap doesn't. So Trap basically prepares for the worst, which is the idea that this Reaper is coming out. Oh, wow, INnoVation is going to go completely different, huh? He's going to proxy the factory as well. You know, the Reaper proxy, you build the factory at home, it turns into an expansion, and you turn into like a nice little macro game with a little bit of early pressure. It keeps the Protoss back at home for a little while longer. Oh, what is he doing? Okay, I think he's going to go concussive shells and cyclones. That's my prediction, because this factory isn't next to the barracks to take the tech lab, which kind of says to me that he wants the tech lab on the barracks, which sort of says Marauders. You can't really justify getting Stim, I don't think. No, is he actually just going to give it up? Is he going to build the starport on the tech lab, maybe? That's a possibility. If this factory flies to the tech lab, okay, in that case, my prediction's just gone. Where's he going to build the starport, I guess, is the next question then. There's INnoVation. I mean, the thing is here from Trap, you walk around with this probe all this time. Okay, he sees the starport, but he doesn't see the factory, so he's obviously expecting something. Wow, he's going to build Magfield out over here. Well, my idea with the Marauders and the Cyclones is that the Marauders concussive shell units, so they can't run away from the Cyclone lock-ons as easily. In this case, it's just going to be Cyclones and Magfield. So I guess this is the idea, right? So I imagine the factory builds to the side because while it's not quick to swap over, if the barracks does get scouted, he maybe doesn't see the factory still. Whereas if the factory is next to the barracks and the barracks get scouted right away, it's obviously going to be denied. So maybe there's still a chance that the factory gets to finish up and can build its own tech lab and maybe cause some chaos as well, right? So I imagine that's the theory behind the factory positioning. So there's just going to be a Cyclone, which is even heading home. It's kind of a scary stage of the game where you're not quite sure what Trap is up to. You're not quite sure what he is building, and it's very possible he's got a Stargate and an Oracle on the way out. So Yeah, he's going to go into the Banshee. So Banshee, very high damage output unit, even if he doesn't get Cloak. We'll see if he wants to go into more than one Banshee, because quite a few people will actually just build even just a single Banshee to help you defend nowadays, and you just keep it at home. With the damage output and the ability to micro it back and get repaired by SCVs, it can do a lot more than you'd expect. Cyclones come up, and they actually get a lock on to Zod and the Stalker. This is very bad for INnoVation if he is not able to finish Magfield, but Trap gives him room. He is going to back off, and he's not going to pressure the Tech Lab. So the Tech Lab will get to complete its Magfield Accelerator upgrade here. So Magfield Accelerator coming in the War Prism. On the way out of the Robo facility, Stalkers, Sentries, and Immortal joining at the front. Two Cyclones come through, locks on. Zealot will go down. It's a nice catch. And the second Banshee now building from INnoVation, so second Banshee on the way. Yeah, no Cloak still. Obviously, it's quite gas intensive with the Cyclones building too, and previous investment. Nice War Prism play. War Prism is a good shutdown against the Cyclones. Just the ability to cancel the lock-on so quickly. And what was really done there, you actually don't even bring a Stalker past shield damage. Oh, now one of the Cyclones in a bit of an awkward spot, so he's evacuating with the factory, but now the Banshee shows up and Trap's units are completely out of position, so a Cloakless Banshee is going to show up and kill 5 probes already, going to get 6, and then I guess just fly out and keep itself alive for the future. Well, what does Trap want to do now? Because attacking against these Cyclones isn't necessarily a great decision. INnoVation building 3 more barracks. He's already got this Rax on a reactor, building a Raven too. Let's see if you can hold on this counterattack of Trap, which is coming across the map. Trap is down 10 workers at the moment. So it's actually very, very important, I think, for Trap to really get some damage done. Otherwise, INnoVation's just going to be having a hell of a game where he's very far ahead for a very long time. Second Banshee going to come around. There's not a lot of defense on the natural. The thing is, if you see this as Cloakless as well, you might just be thinking, oh, it's Cloakless. Like, is there really going to be more than one Cloakless Banshee? Great Force goes across the front as the first Cyclone goes down, make that 2, and now this Bunker in some trouble. The SCV's continuing in to repair it. Bunker will go down, and Auto Turret drops as well. War Prism gets locked onto, and that's big. Now the War Prism very low, so it'll have to be very cautious of coming back into play. The Banshee is actually on the way back home, so the first Banshee shows up, the second one about to be here as well, is pushing forwards. He kills the Prism, and the Immortal was in it, I think. I didn't see the Immortal actually dying, so the Marine count doing wonders, and now actually picks off the Observer. 9 SCVs down, but INnoVation comes out ahead by a worker. And equal on workers, as a Terran, you've got mules, you're having a good time. INnoVation starts up the upgrades, as he's now on 4 racks, obviously a bit of an odd number, usually you have 5. He's got a good rack scan to build a lot of units, and to get this going again, as he moves the starport to a reactor, get those medevacs on the way. Look at what this Banshee is doing. It's adding so much damage to these Stalkers. The Stalkers targeting Marines, not the Banshee, so it's really just allowed to deal quite a bit of damage. New War Prism coming out and across the map here as INnoVation seemingly has held on. I'm just going to be seeing our Prism on its way to the south now. So, making its way to the south, looking as though it will go into the main base. Observer coming along with this. 2 more medevacs just continuing to build, and 4 Stalkers, I mean, they one-shot SCVs, so they are going to have a good little time in the main. So they come straight in, first couple of SCVs already dropping down. Quite a few SCVs going down already. 6 workers killed. It's a very good start as a Marine will now get picked off, and a second Marine as well. Make that 3, 4, 5. The Stalkers having some fun, but guess who's back? It's the Banshee. Shield Battery was just a few moments late to finishing here, and INnoVation sees that Shield Battery will come out the left side and toward the natural, where there's no Shield Battery. If Trap is not paying attention, these Stalkers are going to be out of position too, so he's going to start getting even more probes. I think at this point, I wouldn't even mind him just killing 2 more probes and giving up the Banshee. Is the Banshee really going to do much more, get many more chances like that? I mean, I guess you never know if you don't keep it alive, but I feel like the 2 probes right then and there are just very, when you're already putting so much pressure out, get a couple more, really drive home the idea of being in a very strong economy yourself. Oh, medevacs fly out into Stalkers. He just loses it, but he does get some units out, so it's not the end of the world. Obviously, still not ideal. Was not expecting Trap to be here, which is funny because those Stalkers were just in his main base killing SCVs. So it's not kind of the craziest position of a Protoss army we've ever seen. 8.5 minutes in, Trap still on 2 bases, as is INnoVation. Trap seems like he's just going to all in. He seems to be done with rebuilding probes and getting back up in the economy. He's just going to go for this. He's on 7 gates, so yeah, he really is committed with the charge. Good Sim City here, though, to deal with charge blocks. That's the thing, because this is like a 2-base all-in, INnoVation can just kind of defend on 2 bases, and with Zealots, that's never really fun, because attacking into a 2-base terror, and they have so much, you know, it's a choked area naturally, and then these depots choke up. If this was like a 3-base game and INnoVation has to defend a 3rd, that's in such a more open area, these Zealots have a way better time. Yeah, right now he isn't having fun. It was a nice Matrix initially on the Immortal. He very nearly got the snipe off that, but it does survive. A couple of depots going down, INnoVation finding himself supply block, but the upgrades are just so good for him. The fact he's on +1 attack, has the stim, has the combat shields, all of that already in play. So that's Stalkers, Sentries coming forwards. Nice force fields again. Couple of Widow Mines going down already. Expansion on the right side taking some damage. Nice interference Matrix on the Immortal again. Puts that into the Prism until it's time for it to come back. Well, that's not time for it to come back. It dubs back to its own death. And now he's going to drop over this left side, catching a few more Stalkers, and INnoVation is going to take Trap down. A very fun, aggressive game from INnoVation, actually, to start off this new best of 3 that we're casting. Very interesting style, very interesting way of doing it. Like I said, a completely new take on this matchup compared to previously. All right, really sick. And INnoVation will take game 1 of this best of 3 series, and we've got a game 2 coming up because, like I said, it's a fresh best of 3. Aren't you just loving it? Okay, so in the second best of 3 of this video, we have our Red Terran in the bottom left, up by 1, INnoVation. And the top right, our blue Protoss player. This is Trap. Okay. Game 2 of the series, and we get this started up. Again, obviously, INnoVation taking a very different approach last game. I mean, right from the start, just says, right, hey, you know, let's do this. Drops down the proxied barracks, and I love this game too. Already playing a bit of a mind game here. If Trap does scout, he's actually already scouting for the proxy. If Trap scouts across the map, he might go just straight into the main base, and you'll see no racks, and the racks is just right here. And then Trap's like, oh, what is going on? He maybe makes a Zealot that he doesn't actually need. The good news for him right now is that he might build... He might not build it just because he might continue with his build before he sees it, but I think this probe is still timed out because it was such an early probe. I think it's still timed out to get here and see no barracks before he makes the decisions, right? So... Cybercore will start, and yeah, he's going to build a Zealot. There's just no two ways about it. You need that Zealot in case it's a proper proxy. What if it's down this right side of the map? Then you absolutely need to get a Zealot out to deny the bunker. So very cool play here by INnoVation. Builds the factory in the low ground as well, so he makes it look so similar to what was happening before. Now, does Trap think about checking the low ground? He does not. I guess my next question is, does INnoVation reveal the Reaper? It looks like he will, right? Go and kill this probe. So then you know the Rax wasn't actually out on the map as Trap. At this point, you've already scared Trap quite a bit into building the Zealot, for example, right? So the Zealot finishes up. And now Trap, best thing he can do is arguably go across the map and try and put on some pressure, because he has this early unit that he doesn't usually have, so you may as well try and make use of that Zealot. INnoVation knows that Zealot is likely to come across, so his Reaper will go across to A, try and find some information, and B, intercept the Zealot and start dealing some damage. Unfortunately, the Zealot is actually gone around the top side, so the Reaper is going to go through the center and is not going to catch eyes on that Zealot just yet. And now the Stalker shows up and the Reaper takes a few more hits. So Reaper again pushed back away into the middle of the map here, gateway from Trap. Dropping down the main, next is building on that natural. And the Reaper continues through in towards just to see what's up. Thing is, INnoVation did still go factory, etc., right? So he still didn't go for the initial CC. So he's actually going to defend on the, or expand on the high ground. Zealot will see this, and oh, Reaper did just get out of there. Didn't pick up much info. There was a shield battery on the way, but now that Trap sees that, I don't know what he saw, but whatever he saw, he feels as though he's safe enough to not need the shield battery. So he's not going to go for it. I think he saw the expansion, I think that's why he's just like, okay, if you've got an expand, this is fine. What isn't fine is the fact that the Stalker gets caught by the Cyclone because he has no idea the factory is down here. That's really bad. That's just a dead Stalker. This entire game plan from INnoVation has been a bit of a mind game, and it's working wonderfully. He's now killed a Stalker and a Zealot, and likely to get the Adept. It's going to start shading. Cyclone gets the lock on. Does it get high ground? Trap's clicking wildly. He just gets high ground. He just gets to shade. Does the Cyclone catch this Adept a second time? Stalker coming through. The thing is, there's only one Stalker. Okay, a couple more. That's what you need. One Stalker alone just gets kited. A few Stalkers. When one gets locked on, it can fall back while the other two press forwards. Now, this Cyclone is going to come right in here, get the lock on. Like I said, two press forwards, one falls back. And INnoVation now going into a siege tank. Some more Marines being made. He's already starting up Stimpack as 3 racks are in play. So 3 racks in play right here. I'm just going to see that Observer continue to Corona Boost out from Trap in the main base. Again, that Observer out. A couple extra Stalkers going to finish warping in. And still seeing INnoVation around the bottom side. With 3 racks already, you're going to be on a very strong bio push very early, especially combined with tanks. I'm a little bit afraid of what Trap's going to do against that, because I really feel like a Robo facility isn't going to defend that. I feel like if you go to like a faster Robo Bay and a Colossus, you know, that now we're talking, but a Robo facility into now a Forge and a Twilight? So what, INnoVation's going to hit with like Stim, Combat Shields, Bio, and tanks against... at best 2 Immortals and a building +1 attack upgrade, or +1, probably attack upgrade. I actually don't know where you go here. I guess it depends if you go Blink or Charge. I think you go... I mean, do you go Blink because you need the map control? Because you don't have anything else that gives you that kind of drop defense, etc. Maybe you go Charge because you see this army coming across and you know Charge is going to be better. I think Charge is the better option. Thing is, again, I mean, either way, it's just not ready yet anyways, right? Also in the center, Vision is there, kills a Stalker with the tank shots. Love this as well, just instantly on sieges. He pulls a few SCVs with this attack, and once he gets through the middle, he's going to be away. Nice re-siege, actually pushes the sentry away. He has to respect the siege, and so he has to come back, and now the Marine count, okay, not supported by the tanks, but he's actually going to get forwards far enough to catch a couple sentries, catch a Stalker. There's Immortal, oh, because he's got Stim already. The Stimpack is just huge here. The Stimpack is absolutely massive, and INnoVation only has 27 SCVs, but this army is terrifying. So 2 Immortals. He didn't even make use of the Forge. That's how much... he actually cancelled the Forge. That's how much trouble Trap realized he was in. He's going to try and get Archons, which I don't mind against these Marines. There's no Medivacs. Now Bunker's building, so you're on a timer. You can't really just wait around for Archons or anything. Scans, gets the Observer. He's going to get a Pylon in the process of scanning too. Trap will be supply blocked only momentarily. Gets out of it now. Probe's starting to go down, and here we go. And Sami's going to start pressing in, and honestly, I don't even think he needs Stim to win this. And okay, Trap doesn't even think he needs to fight to win this. Trap just knows he's lost out, and INnoVation is going to win this 2-0. Taking down Trap in a complete reverse from what we saw in the first series. So INnoVation wins this one 2-0 after Trap won the first one 2-0. See, guys? Because I know for a fact, if we had the first matchup only, people would have been like, oh, Protoss. And now you can be like, oh, Protoss. And then everyone else can be like, oh, Terran. And you can counter-complain about each other. It's amazing cast design. Let me know what you thought, guys. Like I said, something obviously a bit different to what we usually do. Yeah, just kind of decided to YOLO it on the fly. Just decided to go, why the hell not? I liked it. It was fun. I really hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If you thought it was crap, then let me know. I really do read a lot of the comments, and I really do take feedback there pretty seriously if it's worded properly. So let me know. And thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this INnoVation Trap series. Like I said, probably more innovation to come in the coming days. So look forward to that. And like I said, always on the hunt for more replays. So I'll let you guys know if there's anything else. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great rest of your day. And thanks so much for choosing to watch WardiTV tonight.